For a look at today's vote, I'm joined by Representative Eric Cantor of Virginia, the Republican Party Whip. Congressman, good to see you this morning.
Alexis, good morning.
All right, so here's what I heard last night. I was doing Neil Cavuto's show over at Fox News, and I heard two different reports. At one point, we heard as many as 24 Republicans could decide to vote on behalf of the stimulus, and then by the end of the hour, we heard as many as 15. Will some Republicans vote on behalf of the stimulus package this morning?
Well, you know, we haven't really seen the whole bill. As you indicated, the conference committee did not put out the entire bill till well into this morning. It is a 1,400-page document. It is the largest spending bill in the history of the country. And frankly, I believe that most Republicans have a lot of concern about where we're headed in a fiscal way. You know, we are on the glide path to spending approximately 40% of the GDP this year alone, given the trillions of dollars that have already gone out of the Treasury. It is a huge bill, and frankly, one that doesn't focus enough on job creation. And we Republicans responded to President Obama when he asked us for our ideas. We presented what we believe is a smarter, simpler stimulus plan that creates twice as many jobs at half the cost. And in fact, President Obama himself said to me when I handed him our proposal and looked at it, he said, look, there's nothing crazy in here. So we're disappointed that our proposals are not in there.
Okay.
But my sense is the Democrats under Speaker Pelosi, they've drawn up this bill. They'll push this thing through the House in record speed.
All right, let me just interject with something here for a second. I spoke to one of your colleagues who represents the district in Peoria, Illinois, and it was interesting. I spoke to him about this yesterday because we talked about the fact that the Caterpillar CEO had conversations with the president and said, listen, if you pass this stimulus package, I will not lay off as many of the workers that I had initially planned when I announced layoffs up to 22,000 people. Now, ironically, your colleague was voting against the bill. Do you not worry that constituents, mayors, people in your community, they need this, and while you don't like the specifics, the best thing right now is to give them some opportunity for job growth, perhaps not ideal, but some opportunity?
Alexis, I think with the particular chief executive in Caterpillar, he had a press conference after that story came out, and he corrected the miscommunication that he would not commit to not laying off workers. He would not commit to hiring more jobs because of the stimulus bill. This stimulus bill is not focused on job growth. I think most economists have said that there, including people like Alice Rivlin, a Clinton team economic advisor, she said, look, there's a lot of long-term spending programs in this bill. And in fact, there are. And, you know, this bill is probably more of a relief measure than it is a stimulus bill. But in the context of where we're headed in this country, we need to be very mindful of the hole that we're digging for ourselves and our children as far as the debt load that we are amassing.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me bring up a point here. You've seen the Gallup polls, okay? You know right now that the real reaction here, at least in polls, suggests that your approval ratings are just about 31%. While Democrats right now are about 48%. Are you not concerned that by being one of the top members of the House, by not doing something to rally the troops here, that you're worried too much about midterm elections and not about what the sentiment is in the country right now? I mean, how do you address those issues? That's got to be something you have to be thinking about.
There's no question, Alexis. And if you look at, you know, that's one poll. And if you look at how they're asking the question, you look at the Zogby poll. The Zogby poll has over 50% of the people in this country thinking this bill will do more harm than good. Independents in this country, over 60% think there's entirely too much spending in here to even help the economy. So we're sticking to, I believe, what's right. Again, we've got a smarter, simpler plan put forth with the analysis that demonstrates we can create twice as many jobs at half the price. Long term, we've got to be concerned about stimulating the economy. We shouldn't be just about the government going to the debt markets, pulling in private capital and redistributing it anywhere we think that we would like it to go. Instead, we've got to be a lot smarter about it. We've got to be a lot more targeted. And look, we've got some other really challenging issues coming, whether it's the TARP 2, TARP 3 programs, whether it is the housing issue. These two will add trillions of dollars to the deficit of this country, and I believe will hold some very significant threats towards the increase in inflation, which could really be devastating to our economy.
Well, Republican, you make Congressman Cantor, you make some great points there. I thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us again, because I know we're going to be talking a lot more about this. Trillions and trillions and trillions. I hate to say it.
Thanks, Alexis.
All right.